some of the programs that Judge Stout, who's retiring, has started, like the teen court, are amazing programs. One of the things that I was raised to believe is that democracy is a participation sport. And the earlier you can learn about government and how it impacts your life, the more involved you can be, and the better you can just make your community all around. So I think having programs like that where children can come in and see what we do and kind of, like I said earlier, demystify government is just, it's paramount into turning our children into voters in the future, because everybody that can vote should vote, and turning our, into just responsible citizens. So that's certainly a program that she started that I think has built community that I would continue. Things that I would do differently is I would, like I said earlier, I would restore the right to perform weddings in the court, which I think just makes people feel welcomed in the court. If your constitutional rights are being denied to you, how welcome do you feel when you're coming up, for a case? If you're an LGBTQ person, how welcome do you feel as an LGBTQ youth in a courtroom where a judge doesn't believe that your sexuality is valid? And how do you feel that your truancy is going to be treated in a respectful way? So I think making people aware that personal biases need to be left at the door, or as soon as you put that robe on, is vitally important. And then just creating some more programs like JP3 has done, some of the financial awareness programs, and also just having open houses, informing people of what a JP does, because Angela is so right. When you're out talking to voters, people are like, what? What do you do? What is this court? So I think having some town hall events where people can come in and find out more information about the court are certainly things that I would encourage.
Okay, so programs I would like to continue is the Teen Court program that's in partnership with the YMCA. Also, the mentor programs that are run from JP Court too. There is a partnership with Catalyst Collective. It's a local, it's called the Purpose Project, and it's a local mentorship organization. And so that is where I have received my certification in mentoring. So I would like to continue the Catalyst Collective mentorship program, as well as there is in-house mentoring within the Justice of the Peace as well. So there's two different types of mentor programs. I would like to continue mentoring our youth. As I stated earlier, our juveniles, our students, our kids, and our community, we are the front line at the Justice of the Peace. It's the lowest legal jurisdiction closest to the people. And I want to make an impact with our youth to make sure that we give them a proactive program going forward. Also, Jail to Jobs is partnered with the JP2 court, and they offer an anger management program. And so there's different programs that are currently being used within JP2, and it's a tailored, type of proactive program, so that when you have a student or a juvenile that comes through with an anger issue, or they come through with a tobacco issue or a vaping issue, there is also tobacco and vaping classes. So that's something that I want to continue, is to bring awareness to the vaping and tobacco issue, and just continuing those programs tailored to each situation and each student that comes through that court. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Our students are dealing with so many different issues. And something that I want to bring to the court, as I stated earlier, is fentanyl awareness. This is something that I'm passionate about. I've met with mothers that have lost their children to fentanyl poisoning, and we need more awareness in our community. And we're seeing that finally, at a national level and at a state level, there is more awareness that's coming, but that's something that I'm passionate about, is having a fentanyl program for those juveniles that come through with a Class C misdemeanor of drug paraphernalia. So that's something important. One other thing that I would like to implement is, I noticed sitting in the courtroom, especially during truancy cases, you had a lot of non-English speaking parents. And I actually mentored a student that the parent did not speak English. And I felt like there was a communication breakdown. I met with this student for 6 months, and she spoke English, but her mom did not speak English. And so I think it's very vital and very important that we are communicating with those parents and finding a way that we're able to have a communication line. And, within the JP court, there is the school administrator that is bilingual, and they are referencing back to the parent what is going on in the court process. But outside of that, I want to explore different ways to stay connected and make sure that those parents understand. I know with my own children, if I know that they need to do something, I'm going to stay on top of them. You need to do this, you need to do this and that. And if the parents don't know what needs to be done, it's hard to blame the situation. So I would like to explore ways to make sure our parents are aware of what their students need to do.
Being more transparent is one thing. I think it's very important. We're very divided right now as a nation, and I think we have more in common than disagreement. So transparency is number one. The other thing too is I believe that we need to treat everybody fairly. You can't say that you pray to God and treat people down at the border like garbage. You just can't do that. It's unchristian. And so I feel that making sure that everyone's treated equally. We know that that's not been happening here in Texas with the LGBTQ community. We know that women are not being treated fairly. We know that African Americans are not being treated fairly. I'm half Hispanic. I've been in so many situations where I was not treated fairly. Good example, several years ago, before the new police chief took over, I applied with the Liberty Hill Police Department. There was this panel of about 7 Anglo officers. I was the only Hispanic in the room. And that previous chief there, I forgot his name, I never forget, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is that there won't be no promotions. And I'm the only Hispanic in that room. So how do you think I felt about that? How can you not have any promotions if Liberty Hill is growing? How can you not have any promotions while there might be other officers that might be leaving the department? I felt discriminated right there and then because I was Hispanic. So I really feel that transparency and treating people equally is going to be something I'm going to be working hard. The Asian community reached out to me as well, and they're saying, well, why are we being treated harshly with COVID-19? They call it the China virus. Why are they being attacked? It's just insane how we treat people. I tell people, look yourself in the mirror before you call yourself a Christian. And treat everybody fairly the way you want to be treated. And so that's what I would do differently. And to continue the legacy of Mr. Wilson, all I can say is that the only thing I can remember is that he tried to fight these quarries to have a little bit more strong regulation with the quarries here in our county. I'll be doing the same thing because I just heard that you guys were trying to get hit by a quarry plant here in Liberty Hill. I'm totally against those guys right now because they don't follow the rules. And so that's something I'll carry over with his legacy.
So we are going into a new redistricting in this next legislative session. So as you know, the new districts were drawn up in this last session, and when representatives take office next year, they will be representing different areas than those districts represented before. And Williamson County has grown so much over the last 10 years that it went from having 2 districts and a tiny bit of a 3rd district that then grabbed Milan and Burnett counties as well, to almost having 4 districts. in 10 years. That is the second fastest growing county in the country, only behind Hayes County, which is also in the Austin area in south of Dripping Springs. And so when you're talking about bringing the community together, the key to the new version of HD 20 of House District 20, where Colonel Wilson represents now, about half of that will remain in the new district, and the portions of southern Liberty Hill going down into Leander and Cedar Park are coming into the district, and Burnett and Milam counties are going off into HD 19 and 17. And when it comes to bringing the community together, maintaining a continuity of the constituent services is the most important thing for us. And I will say that those 18 months between legislative sessions, a lot of that work is getting ready for session, getting bills ready, but the vast majority of what we do is in the constituent services. And folks calling us to say, no matter who you are or what you need, folks have come to us from things from people needing, people at text tag won't call me back, right? There's this massive red tape bureaucracy that is the state, and sometimes people can't find their way through it because it's a maze, and they will take a state rep's phone call. They will take a state rep's office's phone call, and then we say, hey, give these people a call back. They do. We spent a big portion of the time during the pandemic with our whole staff just helping people get through to the Texas Workforce Commission. That was probably 6 months of our lives there, was just acting as a release valve to help people. I've been in line for 6 hours on the phone. I can't talk to anybody. No one will call me back. The system's broken because the system's still from 1991 and it operates on computers that you would have thrown away 3 times ago, right? But you know, we worked with the Workforce Commission, government relations folks. We made sure that every constituent that we talked to got what they needed, and that's what we want to continue with, and to make sure that every person, just today, we had someone call our office from Milam County who was in desperate need. They'd been evicted, they didn't have anywhere to go. There's no state program for that, for their specific situation. And if there was, the amount of time that it takes to go through any sort of government bureaucracy is going to take too long. We connected them with local churches and made something happen, and that's what we plan to see happen, to continue bringing into this new section of the district.